Margarita Island is the largest island in the Venezuelan state of Nueva Esparta, situated off the northeastern coast of the country, in the Caribbean Sea. The capital city of Nueva Esparta, Asunción, is located on the island. Primary industries are tourism, fishing and construction. History: Christopher Columbus was the first European to arrive on Margarita Island in 1498. The local natives were the Guayqueries people. The coast of the island was abundant in pearls, which represented almost a third of all New World tribute to the Spanish crown. Margarita Island was fortified against the increasing threat of pirate attacks, and some fortifications remain today. It was the center of Spanish colonial Margarita province, established in 1525. In 1561, the island was seized by Lope de Aguirre, a notoriously violent and rebellious conquistador. Around 1675, the island was captured again, this time by Red Legs Greaves, a pirate known for his humanity and morality. He captured a fleet of Spanish ships off port, before turning the guns on the forts, which he stormed, and claimed a large booty of pearls and gold. Construction of the Fort Santa Rosa was ordered by the governor Juan Muñoz de Gadia, after the French buccaneer Marquis de Maintenon attacked the island in early 1676. The island gained independence from the Spanish in 1814 after the collapse of the First Republic of Venezuela. It became the first permanently free territory in Venezuela. In the same year, Luisa Cáceres de Arizmendi was detained for over 3 years in a dungeon of the fortress of Santa Rosa on the island in an attempt to put pressure on her husband Juan Bautista Arizmendi, who was fighting for independence. Simon Bolivar was confirmed as Commander-in-Chief of the Second Republic of Venezuela on the island in 1816. He started a 9-year campaign to free Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia from the Spanish crown. Geography: located in the Caribbean Sea between latitudes 10 degrees 52 N and 11 degrees 11 N and longitudes 63 degrees 48 W and 64 degrees 23 W, the island, along with the islands of Coche and Cubagua, comprises the state of Nueva Esparta. The island is split into 2 peninsulas joined by an 18 km long isthmus and covers an area of 1,020 square kilometers. It is 78 kilometers long and measures roughly 20 kilometers at its widest. The climate is sunny and dry with average temperatures ranging from 24 to 37 degrees Celsius. Most of the island's 420,000 residents live in the more developed eastern part of the island, which includes the large cities of Palomar and Pampatar along with the state capital of La Asunción. The island can be reached by direct flights from Caracas or ferries from Puerto La Cruz, Comana, and La Guaira. There are no international flights to the island at present. The Macanao Peninsula to the west has a central mountain range in the east-west direction. The highest altitude is 760 meters at Pico de Macanao. Several smaller ranges derive from this axis following a north-south orientation with deep valleys between them. The most notable of these valleys is San Francisco in the north-central part of the peninsula. The Paraguachoa Peninsula to the east is formed by a mountain range in the north-south direction from Palomar to Cabo Negro. The highest peaks are San Juan y Cerro Grande at 920 meters and El Copi 890 meters. The peninsulas are connected by the La Restinga Isthmus, on which the La Restinga Lagoon is located. There are also 2 breast-shaped hills known as Tetas de Maria Guevara on the isthmus. Terrain: Macanao Peninsula consists of mountainous spine of the central west-east, with several culminations, including Macanao Peak, which is the highest, with an altitude of 760 60 meters above sea level stands. This axial region several side brackets oriented north-south off, including deep valleys, are dissected. The most important is San Francisco in the north-central of Margarita. The central massif is surrounded by foothills forming a more or less continuous, narrow strip, and north and south of the peninsula reaches almost to the coast. Isla Margarita Eastern is formed by a mountain range which runs roughly north-south direction, from northern Palomar to Cabo Negro. North from the town of El Espinal, the massif rises steeply to the culminations of San Juan and Copi Hill, showing heights of 960 and 890 meters respectively. The hills are Matasite and Gayamuri Los Andes foothills. To the north stands the Tragaplata Hill. Among the higher elevations found on the island have cited, whether the average temperature is 27 degrees Celsius with minimum ranging between 22 degrees and 23 degrees Celsius and maximum that can easily exceed 34 degrees C. Rainfall is common in the winter months, a rainy season that begins around July to October. Being located in the Caribbean Sea near the Earth's equator, solar rays fall perpendicularly on the island, and therefore it is advisable to always use some sort of sunscreen when visiting its beaches. Municipalities. Cities. La Asunción. La Asunción is the capital of the federal state of Nueva Esparta, with a population of around 28,500. It is the seat of the regional government. The city is overlooked by the Santa Rosa Castle of La Asunción. Pampatar. The urban area of Pampatar has a population of around 50,000. A number of the island's larger shopping malls are located in the city, namely Sambal Margarita, Ratan Depot, Centro Comercial La Vela, Centro Comercial Costa Azul, Centro Comercial Avian La Redoma. The royal fortress of San Carlos Borromeo, constructed in the late 17th century, is located in Pampatar. The city also has several beaches. Palomar. The largest city on Margarita Island is Palomar. The population can reach 125,000 in the high season, while in the low season, the population is about 85,000. Two beaches are located within the city. Juan Griego. Juan Griego is a city on the northern side of Isla Margarita, and is the most northern port in Venezuela. It has a population of 28,256 inhabitants and is capital of the Marcano municipality of the Nueva Esparta state. Its church of Gothic styling was constructed in 1850 by Fray Nicolas de Igualdad. Is still, along with the lovely bay, the symbol of the city. The La Galera fortress, where in the early 1820s a fierce battle for independence was fought, is located near the city center. In 1973, the island became a free port, and the city once again became the second city in sequence of importance in the commercial activities after Palomar. Tourism. The island's status as a duty-free port and proximity to the mainland make it a popular vacation spot for Venezuelans. It sees a large number of tourists around Christmas time, Easter week, and from July to mid-September. Whiskey, cheese, chocolate, and electrical appliances, among other goods, can be purchased less expensively than on the mainland. There are at least 50 beaches on the island, which has a 106 miles coastline. Playa El Yak is popular as a windsurfing and kite surfing location. Playa Parguita, Playa Caribe, Playa Punta Arenas, Playa El Agua, and Playa Puerto Cruz are also popular beaches. Margarita Island was the venue for the 2014 Caribbean Series. It was the second time it hosted the series. 2010 was the first. It is expected that the development of the tourism industry on the island will be boosted by the influence of predominantly Dominican, Mexican, Puerto Rican, and Venezuelan sports enthusiasts who arrived for the competition. Population. The demonym for islanders is Margaritanus, as in Neo-Espartanos as. Ethnic minority populations of some significance include Lebanese, Spanish, Italian, German, French, Dutch, Swedish, Norwegian, Danish, Portuguese, Argentine, Chilean, Uruguayan, Colombian, and Chinese. Immigrants from mainland Venezuela are colloquially called navegados by islanders. A little less than 25% of the Neo-Espartanian population live in Palomar. Margarita's population is just under 440,000, although this tends to fluctuate during holiday periods and the festive season. Religion. The predominant religion is Roman Catholicism. Other Christian denominations are also present. Of the churches that present in the Neo-Spartan entity, among the most important are Basilica de la Virgen del Valle, Cathedral of la Asunción, Iglesia San Juan Evangelista, Iglesia Parroquial de San Juan, Iglesia de San Nicolás de Bari, of the San José de Paraguachi, and other churches and chapels minor located in populations of Santa Ana, Punta de Piedras, Palomar, Pampatar, and virtually all the towns of the island. There are also small populations of Jews and Muslims. Evangelical Christian churches have had a significant growth in recent years, demonstrating the presence and impact in the population of the island. One of the fastest growing is the Centro Cristiano Casa de Alabanza, present in Palomar, Juan Griegard, La Asunción, and Tubos municipality. The patron saint of eastern Venezuela is the Virgin del Valle, and in the population El Valle del Espíritu Santo is the Basilica Mena de Nuestra Señora del Valle, which approaching Margarita, Coche and Cubagua islanders visit to honor her on her feast day. Natural heritage. Las Tetas de Maria Guevara. The Las Tetas de Maria Guevara, located in a coastal plain in the south of the 1,670-hectare Laguna de la Restinga National Park, consists of two small twin hills with a height of 135 meters. The vegetation around the hills is desert with cacti, prickly pears, jacks, guamachas. The fauna is diverse, including desert lizards, rabbits, rattlesnakes, and coral. The legend told by the inhabitants of the island goes that the name Maria Guevara comes from a white young girl who was heavily involved in the War of Independence, and that upon her death, the hills rose on her grave. One other Margaritan myth says the source of the name also comes from the same woman, but that she was from Cumana and came to the island to lead a group of men in fishing activities, as she had small breasts. By way of derision, whenever they cited the hills, said, "They're of the lady's tits," and the name was created. The area was declared a national park on February 27, 1974. Crime. On the 7th of February 2014, a German tourist horse Kurt Fritz was killed by two gunmen on a stolen motorcycle a few hours of arriving on the island. At a local craft Margaritinas located around Sambil Mall, the sexagenarian belonged to a group of tourists who had arrived on a cruise ship to visit the island. On the 3rd of September 2013, a Dutch sailor was killed on his yacht while resisting armed robbers attempting to board his boat. On the 20th of January 2012, about 30 or 35 Brazilian tourists were robbed in the hotel in Antolón del Campo, Margarita, by a gang of between 13 and 15 armed robbers. Starting in October 2011, the government installed equipment that requires everyone visiting Margarita Island to electronically register the fingerprints and a picture when entering Margarita Island. Since 2010, there have been numerous instances of tourist murders. On the 27th of August 2010, an Italian tourist, Emiliano Astor, was murdered on his boat anchored off Margarita Island in an apparent robbery. Two police officers and a civilian were arrested. A third officer was implicated in the exploitation of objects from the crime. On the 18th of July 2011, 28-year-old Briton Tom Mossel was killed resisting 7 armed robbers who had tricked their way into the backpackers' hotel before they took the guests hostage and raiding rooms for valuables. On the 29th of March 2011, French tourist Francis Lebras was murdered in a robbery at the Laguna Mar Hotel while he and his wife dined at the Guacuco restaurant. In March 2011, Belgian tourist Bon Philippe was murdered while eating in a fast food outlet in Playa El Agua, Margarita. The U.S. government has not issued any warnings of violent crime on Margarita Island, but there is a warning for all of Venezuela. The UK Foreign and Commonwealth Office warns that street crime in mainland Venezuela is high, and that armed muggings and express kidnappings, opportunistic abductions to extort money from someone, are regular occurrences. Since 1998, there have been about 10 pirate attacks on or near Margarita Island. Venezuela is now listed as a dangerous region for pirate attacks, and in many regions, including between Margarita and Sucre, sailors should not anchor and yachts should sail in company.